Investment advisory services offered through Independent Solutions Wealth Management and Blackridge Asset Management, LLC. Peak Broker Services, LLC is not an affiliate of Independent Solutions or Financial Guys, LLC.
You're listening to The Financial Guys.
We're $23 trillion in debt, honey. We don't have an extra surplus of money.
Newsflash, guys, stop attacking businesses because when all the businesses are gone, nobody's going to pay your salary anymore. You get that?
If the goal is to create a loser mentality, you're winning.
I'm going to build a big, beautiful wall with a big, beautiful door. Well, guess what? We have a big, beautiful door, all right. It's the wide open southern border, right?
Yeah.
Here's Glenn Wiggle and Mike Lomas.
Alrighty, welcome back to Money Talks, the place where money meets politics. Mike Lomas, Glenn Wiggle, our website, thefinancialguys.com. We have a lot of fun with this show. We do manage money Monday through Friday, but weekly podcast number, I have no clue because we've been doing this long enough or I've stopped counting. Glenn, where do we got California tax hikes cause significant out-migration. There's a shocker there. We've got Chicago broke again, $838 million budget deficit. When does that state go bankrupt? Elizabeth Warren, which we probably won't even get to, I talked about this on the radio show last week, her tax increase proposals, which, it's funny how all of her tax increases won't hit her. So she's designed them to not hit her and her family, but everybody else. Nancy Pelosi, we'll talk about her net worth. By the way, her son, Paul, was an executive at a Ukrainian-based gas company. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny?
Well, no wonder they're so all uptight about it and freaking out about Ukraine. All their kids work there. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I thought they hated fossil fuels. I can't figure that out.
Yeah,
I thought they
hate them.
Doesn't Joe Biden and his family, they hate fossil fuels. They're not afraid to make hundreds of millions of dollars off these companies. So let's start out with impeachment, though. The impeachment garbage and the whistleblower. It's amazing to me. Apparently now they have a second whistleblower, although we haven't met the first whistleblower.
Right.
And when Adam Schiff was saying that when he was questioned multiple times, he can't get his story right. So they're like, right. Adam, do you know the whistleblower? Did you meet the whistleblower? Well, no. Well, how do you know it's real? Well, I guess I sort of did. Did you or didn't you? And as Trump has said, bring the whistleblower out. Bring him out.
Right, bring him out. Well, now the Democrats.
Let's hear your story.
Well, now the Democrats are moving to actually hide the identity. They want to actually find a way to make it so that whistleblowers can stay anonymous. So let me just make sure everybody understands this. Under Obama, he prosecuted, under the Espionage Act, more whistleblowers than all other previous presidents combined. Okay?
Right.
Now, before he leaves office, in the last 3 months before he leaves office, he basically changes the rules to make it easier for whistleblowers to hide their identity after prosecuting them, right? It's still not enough. So it's still not enough. So in August of this year, the CIA or the FBI or somebody in the Justice Department somewhere changes the rules again to make it so that they can utilize hearsay or third-party data information to make the complaint. Up until this point, they had to have first-hand data. So let me just explain this. We have a whistleblower who we don't know, likely who works for the DNC, likely a Democrat person for sure, who obviously
I think Adam Schiff, by the way, said he works for the DNC. said he was, well, at least he was a registered Democrat. We know that.
Right.
Yeah.
So hates Donald Trump, right? So here's what the whistleblower has said. I heard from somebody else about this phone call that Trump had, and I'm deeply disturbed by it because I think that it's election interference. So you heard from somebody else, but you don't have any were you on the phone call? Did you read the transcript of the phone call? Did you overhear the phone call? No. That's like saying, my neighbor told me that the other neighbor is having a baby. Okay.
Right.
But that may or may not be true, right? You know,
right,
it's just,
right.
it's ludicrous at the point that we're at.
It's not. You know who I got? I said I got a case of beer on it. It's Christine Blasey Ford as the whistleblower. I'm convinced of it. I'm absolutely 100% convinced of it. We'll find. I'm just doing it to help out. I'm here to help. Yeah. That's what I'm here for to do. That's all. That's all I want to do is help.
Doesn't this follow the same pattern though? Whistleblower number 2 has come out. There will be a 3. There will be a 4. Yeah. Each one of them will be more ridiculous than the first. That's what's going to happen. It'll be exactly the same pattern as Blasey Ford. You're right, Kavanaugh hearing. No doubt.
Absolutely. And the sad part about it is the mainstream media will do zero research. They could care less, right? No. They've got a zero values, so they don't give a crap if they obviously they want to hurt Donald Trump, right? They know that if they tell this story enough people will start to believe it, right? It's like, that doesn't matter. If you say, this guy did something wrong to this girl, about 50% of the people for the rest of their life, even though it never happened, those Duke lacrosse people, they didn't do anything wrong, right? I mean, they had a party and they brought, that maybe their values weren't the best. However, they didn't rape these girls, right? But for the rest of their life, there's going to be a huge group of people in the country that because the mainstream media didn't do the research and just ran with the story, they're going to think there's a target on these guys' backs for the rest of their life, no matter what they do. No matter what they do. And that's the same thing. CNN, scumbag CNN knows exactly what they're doing. They could care less. Let's run with the story, even though they know it's all bullshit. And there's enough people that are going to go, okay, there's probably did do it. Okay, Trump's a bad guy.
Absolutely. So when you think about where we're at now, and I was talking to somebody recently, they're like, well, but he did say that, we're not going to give you this unless you do this. I'm like, no, he didn't say that. Where'd you hear that? He goes, well, I heard it in the media.
Well, Biden did. Biden did.
But here's how this works. Adam Schiff, right? Because the transcript, there's nothing wrong with the transcript. So Adam Schiff testifies in front of Congress as the House Intelligence Chairman. He makes up a story. He falsifies and reads a made-up transcript. It's not true. And he says, well, it was parody. It was meant to. But here's the thing. So that's broadcast on CNN, right, or C-SPAN. It's picked up by the media, right? The next day, Donald Trump actually releases the actual transcript. The media on Thursday is still talking about how he's hiding the transcript. Like, hello, keep up with current news. But then Pelosi and the rest of the Democrats are out there, and they're using talking points and parroting Adam Schiff's fake transcript. And so repeat. It's like the whole, remember the wrap-up smear? How Nancy Pelosi explained how it works? So we smear them, right? And then you all in the media cooperate with us. You run with the story, and then that validates our smear, and we call it a wrap-up smear. Remember? That's exactly what they're doing here. It was the same thing with Blasey Ford. It's the same thing with Kavanaugh. It's the same thing with Ukraine. It was the same thing with Russia. And I'm telling you what, now that Bill Barr is going on this investigation and starting to look into the corruption of the Biden family, the Pelosi family, and the rest of they're freaking out, man. They are freaking out. And they're going to do everything they can to annihilate him if possible.
You and I are both big believers in what goes around comes around. This is going to come around like a goddamn tornado, and it's gonna bite Biden in the butt, right? Biden, I really do believe that Biden is the only guy with a chance. He was the only guy with a chance to actually sort of compete with Trump. I'm not saying he would, but he was the only guy because he was more moderate. The rest of them are so freaking nuts that the country, and thank God for an electoral college, right? Thank God. But the rest of the country, geographically gets it. Okay, Elizabeth Warren, you're a nut job. I know you like to drink beer. That's all bullshit. We see right through it, right? Bernie Sanders. Is Bernie Sanders, by the way, is he in a Canadian hospital right now getting care? I hope he is.
He went to Cuba. I think he went to Cuba. He likes the communist healthcare system. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's down
that's
there
what I was hoping.
Taken care of.
I certainly hope he's not getting care in the United States of America because our healthcare system is not up to par with his health needs.
That's
for
right.
Sure.
Yes, he should fly to Europe. He loves the European model. He should go there.
This is the last ditch effort. This is the Buffalo Bills on 4th down and 10 from their own 30-yard line with 1 second left. And the only thing you can do is throw the ball as far downfield as possible and pray that somebody catches it. And this is exactly what's going to happen. Unfortunately, my guess is the ball's going to get intercepted. And it's good now, because not only is it going from the Biden family, now we're starting to realize, well, wait a minute, Pelosi's son, Paul, worked for Ukrainian guest. Wow, isn't that funny?
Yeah, John Kerry's son,
kidding.
too. Right?
Wow,
I guess all three of them,
that.
all three of their kids are such geniuses. They all deserve to be on a board of a Ukrainian oil and gas company.
And I think Mitt Romney's son did something similar to that too. And we'll find out draining the swamp that, why does Mitt really hate Trump, right? At some point, you know that in the political arena, you're both going to go up against each other in the same party. You're going to smash the heck out of each other. And then you're going to go, you know what? Let bygones be bygones. Let's shake each other's hand and let's win this thing, right? He never did that. Why? Because he's scared, just like Pelosi and just like Biden, that it's going to come back to bite him. And mark my words, I bet it will. Let's talk Chicago for a second. You've got a video. Chicago is $838 million behind budget again, budget deficit. They
it's
just
$1 billion.
It's
a billion.
Yeah,
it's just a city.
There was one guy, and you may have the video of it. There was one guy, because the mayor has a town hall meeting, right? And they have the same damn town hall meeting like every 12 months. Like, what are we going to do? We're broke again, right? But this guy's like, he goes, would you please, I'm begging you, please cut 20% of expenses across the board. Please. Like, I've got to find that guy as a video.
Just cut the budget. Like, I got it right here.
Just please, for once. For once,
I'm
just begging
about
you,
cutting the budget.
Please.
Just for once.
Yeah.
All right, let me play this video. This is just great.
All right.
It's between this video and and you got Chicago going bankrupt. Go figure. Well, and we'll play the California video. People they're studying people leaving. Why are we still studying this? By the way, we'll talk about that. And then the last video wraps it nice and puts it nice together with Pelosi with her. How did she make her $238 million? So.
We're not. Let me just say this: we're not studying it. Texas isn't studying it. Florida's not studying. Remember the Florida governor when New York came out with the. When New York came out with the $100 million campaign of we're going to give you 10 years worth of free taxes, but then we're going to screw you in year 11, the Florida governor was smart enough to say, just come down here. We actually don't do that kind of crap. Just come down here and do business. It was great. So that's what geographically this country is doing. Of course, you've got Illinois, California, New Jersey, and New York, who, by the way, are now turning into the filthiest, poorest states with the biggest gap between the poor and the rich. Everything that they profess to help, they're actually screwing the middle class is what they're doing, screwing them right out of the state.
No doubt.
Yep. Sorry, play the video.
Let's hear from the folks, the geniuses in Chicago. This is classic.
Yeah.
Maybe there should be some type of tax for individuals that come into the city of Chicago and work and don't live in the city of Chicago.
Yeah, try that. That'll work great. Try that. Yeah, that goes.
So let's take. So we haven't listened. Can you pause it? I'm so sorry. So let's get this. These guys are these liberals are price. They are priceless. We have said this forever. Monday through Friday, all they do is figure out ways to steal your money. Never once do they come up with any kind of pro-growth strategies to add jobs or to grow. It's 100%. So this moron thinks, the only thing we haven't taxed is the people that don't live here. Let's go get them now too, right? Yeah.
Let's try a commuter tax because other cities haven't done that.
Yeah.
Enough is enough. What are these folks bright enough though to say, you know what? Let's see if other cities have tried a tax like this. A commuter tax. Yeah, let's see if other states have tried that. And let's see what the results were. Like, duh.
Tonight, the mayor got a wide range of suggestions from voters about how to solve the budget crisis.
The city is facing an $838 million budget deficit, and taxes are almost certainly going to go up. Mike Flannery is live at the South Shore Cultural Center with more. Mike.
My God.
Well, Dawn, the mayor actually says it's inevitable that tax increases are coming. This was her fifth and final budget town hall. As at the other town halls that she had previously conducted, some people came to talk about other issues, but nobody said tax me.
For as long as I've been living, every year there's been a new tax raised.
Mayor, we're broke. Please, no taxes. I know this is going to be hard and this is political suicide, but Can we cut the budget 20%, please?
Yay.
We're going to take all this information.
They're just laughing at him, though. The morons
Yay.
in the audience are laughing at him like, oh, look at this clown. He's talking about cutting.
Right.
Oh, come on.
What an idiot.
Oh,
what an idiot.
What an idiot,
That's,
right?
This is this guy's final plea to say, I'm leaving to Florida. I will be gone.
Yes, I have to go.
1 foot is out the state. I'm begging you, please. My family is here, right? That's why most people stay. Their family's here. Or the other side of it is, and we've got a huge office and a very successful office in Buffalo. You start stuff. You commit your life. You build things. You can't just walk away from it, And liberals will tell you that too. Like, well, if you don't like it, leave. Okay, so let me get this straight. You sat on your ass and did nothing with your life for the last 20 years. I worked my you-know-what off, got up at 6 in the morning when I was 22 years old and worked till 1 in the morning for a decade nonstop straight, and now you just want me to walk away from it. Okay, great, right? I'll walk away from it, and then there's another.
Yep. Let me just hand it to you. You guys can run it.
Yeah, you can take it. Yeah.
But they never think about, though, is like you walk away from it, but what about the employees? What about their families? I mean, think about how many people we employ. I mean, think about the different companies we own, from Peak to Blackridge to Financial Guys to Independent Solutions to Financial Guys
Neiman
Insurance.
Funds,
Neiman Funds. If we just said, you know what, we're done, we're going to walk away, you've got over a dozen people that are now on the unemployment line. Yeah, let's just walk. I mean, they just don't get it. The liberals have no comprehension of what it takes to run a business. None.
They're dumb enough to know that to not know that if we said, okay, well, there's 12, 15, 20 people that don't have jobs, that multiplier now turns into 40 people because those people are not going out to lunch around here. They're not. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And as you said, they're too stupid to look at the results of some of this stuff, right? Had they done that, we would be teaching socialism and what it's done around the world in high schools.
Well, they're doing that.
And teaching what capitalism has done to take people from the lowest tax bracket to the highest tax bracket in the quickest amount of time.
Well, they're doing that. They're teaching kids in school what socialism has done, but they're not actually giving them the actual results. They're saying it's great, it's wonderful. We should go.
It hasn't been done right.
Listen to the reaction of this guy, though. Listen to the reaction of this guy, right? They're cheering the lady who goes, I think we should talk about taxing the commuters. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Mayor,
this guy's like, cut.
We're broke. Please no taxes.
Right.
I know this is going to be hard and this is political suicide, but can we cut the budget 20%, please?
We're going to take all this information in that we've gotten. We will work with Chairman Dow and the other members of the City Council to put together a budget framework.
So the mayor will present to the City Council a budget proposal she says will be balanced on October 23rd. After that, she promised this crowd there will be at least one more opportunity for folks to weigh in, let her know what they think of her proposal once it's put in writing.
Yeah, that's what they call the moving company. That's that last opportunity.
That inevitable tax increase is likely to be coming. Reporting live from the South Shore Cultural Center, I'm political editor Mike Flannery.
Inevitable means it's inevitable, right? This was Fox 32 in Chicago reporting.
The guy was spot on, by the way, in Chicago. The sad thing is it is political suicide to cut the size of the budget, which is terrible. Yep. But ultimately, you just got to hope and pray that when it does go bankrupt, when the city goes bankrupt, when California goes bankrupt, when the state goes bankrupt, New Jersey and New York, that somebody is in a position on a federal level to say, we're done bailing you out. Right? We are absolutely 100% done bailing you out because the bailouts continue to kick the can down the road instead of forcing them to fix their problems and their issues. We continue to bail them out. Yep. The UAW, by the way, is on strike again. General Motors is on strike. How could that be? They still owe me as a taxpayer $1 billion. And you want raises?
Oh,
now?
they think they
look
they
at
think
a lot of
they
hardworking people there. God bless you, but you don't deserve raises until taxpayers get paid back. That's crap.
Good people don't go into government.
I'm using this now as my.
Yeah,
I love this guy. I love it.
Right.
What's that?
So, a few things.
California
sorry,
if you
tax
can't see
hike,
this.
by the way.
Yeah, you're right. Explain what this is. Hang on 1 second, because I'm reminded that people are either listening as the podcast or watching on YouTube. If they're not watching on YouTube, then they would have no idea what that is. So I was actually up in Tampa visiting my daughter, who's at college there, and I saw this little Trump pen. It's like a little boxing Trump. It's actually a pen, but you hit the button and he has these little sayings and they're just hilarious. And Marcy's like, that's supposed to be making fun of Trump, right? I'm like, yeah, but the best thing is like I think it's hilarious, and I think it's, you can make fun of Trump all you want. I think he's definitely unique as a character, but he's getting the job done when it comes to the policies and what he's trying to do. But this little doll thing is going to be my go-to now for my sound effects. This is just anytime somebody does something stupid, it's going to be the.
You're fired.
I love that. You're fired.
That's funny.
Anyway,
just
two more things before because this is good.
Yeah, before we wrap up here, California tax hike caused significant outmigration of the top bracket millionaire residents, study shows.
Shocking.
And to your point, Glenn, how many studies are they going to do, right? And I know it's them doing the studies, right? It's a state, it's a conservative in the state of Florida or in the state of California who's still there going, please, please, please stop this moronic behavior, please. But they just can't do it. Of course they're leaving.
Why do they keep?
Right?
Who did this study though?
The top 1%, by the way, these liberals, Hollywood elites are not leaving because they're abusing the system. They're the ones benefiting from all the tax revenue, right? They're the movie executives that say, we need higher taxes, yet when they go to put in XYZ movie 4, they go to the local community and say, we need tax breaks, blah, blah, blah. We need reimbursement from the state of California to be able to offset the stupidity that's going on here. And they go, okay, no problem. No problem. Same thing happened in New York, by the way. It was funny. They had this whole movie coalition thing going on in Western New York, and they needed tax breaks. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You're going to get New York City, by the way. They do the same thing. They need tax breaks. Are you nuts? You're the ones that voted for the tax increases. Now you want tax breaks.
So I just read through this while you were talking, and it looks like researchers Joshua Rao and Ryan Shui or Shiu did this study. Now, I'm guessing that they're probably both university professors, right? I'm guessing that they probably got federal money to conduct this study. So let me give you a little tip. The next time somebody comes to the federal government or any government and says, I'd like to perform a study as to why people leave states like California or if tax increases have an impact on outward migration, here, just give them my number. Just say, here, call the financial guys. They'll just give you the answer, right? Because it's the same results every time. It's every time.
Yeah.
Why are we studying this? This kills me.
Here, let's save the taxpayers $1 million or whatever the grant is. Call the financial guys. I'll go back in my in and out box on my emails, and Glenn will do the same. Within 5 minutes, we'll send you about 1,700 reports on
other studies.
Study after study after study.
The 50 other studies. The study looked at increases to state income tax rates approved by California voters in November 2012, which was Proposition 30. Of 1 to 3 percentage points for upper income households. It raised the top marginal tax bracket to 13.3% for incomes of more than $1 million. No.
13.
So
that's nuts. Think about that.
It's crazy.
Think
right?
about 13.3 on top of
that's where New York is
37%, 37% on a federal level. You're at 50% before you've paid a property tax bill, before you've paid taxes on buying your can of pop, or I don't know if you're allowed to buy pop anymore in the state of California.
No.
But,
well, you can't use a straw, but you can.
You're literally
you can suck it through a hypodermic needle.
You're 50%. You're 50. Yeah, that's right. If you find, you can pick one up on the street. It's not a problem. Wash it out first. It's fine, as long as it doesn't end up in the ocean with one of those plastic straws. Right? What a joke. Right. Sorry. Were you going to play but by the way, before I want to make sure we end the podcast with Nancy Pelosi's net worth. You pointed this out before the podcast. Her net worth is $200-something million, right? Her salary is $200,000. Now, you and I think we run a pretty solid financial planning firm. We have models that range from conservative all the way to growth oriented, or what I would say more aggressive, which is more stock oriented. If you had 100% of your money in the S&P 500, let's just say, which very few money managers are going to, like our portfolios are designed to sort of be in line with that, but with less risk. But, good luck. We've never found a money manager that has been 25 or 30% ahead of the S&P 500. The S&P 500 over the last 20 years has done, 4 or 5%? Over the last 40 years, it's maybe an 8% rate of return. Yeah.
Let me play this California video first because this is going to dovetail perfectly into the other video. And by the way, for the privilege of paying 13.3% tax in state tax California, you also get to pay double the gas prices because the average gas price there is about $4.50 a gallon.
Yeah, well, shame on you for having an SUV there. That's why.
Jeffrey Cleveland with us, a genuine economist. Okay, first of all, am I right? I think this is a new form, not a new form, but a new tax, a whole new raft of taxes going after your wealth, which we've not done before. Am I right in saying that?
Well, I think some of these policy proposals are new, but Stuart, this is the same old story. You know, it's the eat the rich strategy. It's the idea that you can take wealth from a certain group and you can redistribute it and things will be better off. And I think it suffers from two main flaws. You know, number one is the idea that accumulation of wealth, someone with $1 billion, let's say, represents ill-gotten gains. And this is just simply not the case. In a capitalistic society, the way you get $1 billion is providing immense value to society as a whole. You provide value, you earn the wealth and the income.
Or you become a U.S. congressperson, right? You could do that. Right. You could just you could game the system.
Somehow,
you could put your kids on boards of oil and gas companies, right?
Right.
You could participate in IPOs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Somehow you found the magic tree where your income is only $150,000 or $200,000, but yet your net worth is $100 million in some cases. Yeah.
That's right. So let me play this video because this is 60 minutes, and this must have been an old video because I could not possibly imagine them actually doing a piece like this today. So I'm guessing that this video probably goes back a bunch of years. Just a guess. I don't know for sure. Somebody posted this on Twitter, but it's perfect. It really just says it sums the whole thing up, and then we'll talk about the numbers.
Either that, or we'll look into the research and find the anchor has miraculously committed suicide with 7 bullets.
No, he's still around. That's right. Yeah, no, he's still around thus far. He didn't mess with the Clintons. This is just Pelosi. So Pelosi just doesn't talk to you anymore. Clinton puts you 6 feet under.
You're a senator. If you were a senator, Steve, and I gave you $10,000 cash, one or both of us is probably going to go to jail. But if I'm a corporate executive and you're a senator and I give you IPO shares in stock, and over the course of one day that stock nets you $100,000, that's completely legal.
And former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her husband had participated in at least 8 IPOs. One of those came in 2008 from Visa, just as a troublesome piece of legislation that would have hurt credit card companies began making its way through the House. Undisturbed by a potential conflict of interest, the Pelosi's purchased 5,000 shares of Visa at the initial price of $44. 2 days later, it was trading at $64. The credit card...
Let me stop that just for a second. There's more to play here.
Wow.
But let me put that in perspective for people. Mike and I cannot participate in hot IPOs because we're registered professionals. We're barred from doing that, right? However, if you're a congressperson and you have legislation in front of you, then yes, you can get the IPO. She made $100,000 in 48 hours. In 2 trading days, she made 50% on her money. Now, she probably still owns it. The stock has gone up hundreds of percentage points since that IPO in 2008.
Two things. Not only are we not allowed to buy them, but getting access to them for clients is almost impossible. Getting access to them is almost impossible. It's not only does she have the knowledge, the inner working knowledge to be able to get her hands on these, she can actually get her hands on these, which is really scary.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Legislation never made it to the floor of the House. Congresswoman Pelosi also declined our request for an interview, but agreed to call on us if we attended a news conference.
Madam Leader, I wanted to ask you why you and your husband, back in March of 2008, accepted and participated in a very large IPO deal from Visa. At a time there was major legislation affecting the credit card companies making its way through the House. And did you consider that to be a conflict of interest?
I don't know what your point is of your question. Is there some point that you want to make?
Because you're a corrupt witch. That's the point.
Yeah, right.
with
Corporate executives, members of the executive branch, and all federal judges are subject to strict conflict of interest rules, but not the people who write the laws.
If you are a member of Congress and you sit on the Defense Committee, you are free to trade defense stock as much as you want to. If you're on the Senate Banking Committee, you can trade bank stock as much as you want, and that regularly goes on.
Love the stupidity. You got to love the Clinton. You got to love the Clinton-like stupidity.
What?
That's exactly
what?
I don't know.
What are you trying to get at?
I don't know. Nothing about it. I didn't
What am I trying to get at is you had legislation that was...
Yeah. Come on.
Right.
If you're that stupid,
you had legislation
Nancy,
that was...
Yeah. If she's that stupid,
you had
she
legislation
shouldn't be
that
in the
was going to
position
come
she's
to
in.
the floor of the House that you're in, right, in 2008. And I think she was Speaker in 2008, if I'm not mistaken, right? So she's Speaker of the House, right? There's legislation that she could potentially bring to the floor for a vote that's going to be damaging to credit card companies. Miraculously, she gets access to the Visa IPO, right? She gets 5,000 shares of the IPO, and that legislation just mysteriously never makes to the floor of the House for a vote, and none of those regulations ever go into place. Let me just explain to people. Let me wrap up with this, okay? We're financial professionals. We've been doing this for 25 plus years. And we've had a lot of clients that have made $200,000. We've got a lot of clients that make $500,000, right? If Nancy Pelosi made an average of $200,000 for her 30 years in Congress, okay, and she invested the entire $200,000, didn't have to pay tax on it, put the whole thing away. If she earned 15% every single year for 30 straight years, which is way above the market average, she would only end up with about $13 million. That's it. For her to accumulate the $250 million roughly that she's worth at $200,000 a year, she would have to earn a tax-free return every single year of over 25%. Okay? Every single year with taxes,
That's
she'd have to have
unreal.
about a 30% return. So how does
Unreal.
somebody making $200,000 accumulate $238 million over a 30-year period? They don't do it by just simply investing in the stock market. I can tell you that.
Yeah, where's the mainstream media could wipe them out in a heartbeat with just a little bit of research, just a little bit of
one
research.
last thing,
It's
and
really
we'll wrap it
sad.
up with
That's
this.
a
Let's
shame.
just keep this in mind.
All right.
There was, when Paul Ryan, who was the most useless Speaker of the House in history, when all the hoopla about the sexual harassment payoffs that the House made, right? Of all the Me Too movement of protecting women, and Democrats love women, I want everyone to keep in mind that we have a woman Speaker of the House right now that by the stroke of a pen could release all of the data on the sexual harassment hush money that the House of Representatives have paid out. And she refuses to do it. Keep that in mind. We'll wrap it up with that.
Yeah. Well, that's all her. That's all her
That's
buddies
right,
she's
exactly.
getting the IPOs from. Why would we do that, right? All right. All right. All right. On behalf of Mike Lomas, we're the Financial Guys. Go to our website for all our content, thefinancialguys.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and we do manage money for a living. So we have multiple offices, main offices in Western New York, 305 Spindrift, Williamsville, New York, and West Palm Beach and Jupiter, Florida. So use this as a resource. Again, go to our website at thefinancialguys.com. We'll see you next week.